Hi, this is Alexandra, and in this video I want to talk to you about how to get the most out of your online program. I remember when I first took my first online program, I think I could have been much more successful if I had known a few tricks on how to organize myself, how to share myself, and how to show up in the program, which I didn't know at the time. So I want to share with you the 3 components how to get the most out of it. And I know that for some of you, you've already taken online programs, but I think there's always room for improvement. And for some of you, you have never taken an online program, and it takes a little bit to get the bearing. So here we go. The way I see it is that there are 3 components to having success in an online program. And it is, first thing is you have to get organized, then show up, and you have to share yourself. So the more you share yourself, the more you're getting actually out of an online program, because it is in the sharing that you actually learn and that you realize how far you have come and where your hangups are and where you need to improve upon. So let's look at the first one, get organized. Here I show you a few tricks of what I do in my Google bar. So the first thing I do whenever I join an online program is to put a bookmark in my bookmarks bar right here. So it's quick access. One of the things that you need access to always is the Student Resources Hub. So I just go to the Student Resources Hub and I'm going to go bookmarks, bookmark this page. And I'm wanting to put it in the bookmarks bar, but I'm going to just edit this and say Body Joy Login. I'm just going to call it a Body Joy Member Hub is what I'm going to call it. And I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to just call it Body Joy because that's the program that I want to join right now. So I'm going to save that, and here it is. So when I go to the Body Joy tab now, it's very easy for me to go to the login area. So now there's also a bunch of other things that I might want to have access to. That is the recipe books or the habit books or any kind of resource, like maybe a blog that was shared somewhere that you want to have quick access to. So say I wanted to have quick access to the recipe booklet, because sometimes I might want to look something up on my computer around that. So again, I go to it, I go to bookmarks, bookmark this page, and I'm just going to call it BJ Recipe Book, and I'm going to put it under the Body Joy tab. Done. So if I go back to my Body Joy, now I have really quick access to my recipe book. And the same thing, if you wanted to have access to the 10 Habits ebook or the Better Habits Guide, you could do the same thing. Next thing that I do is I schedule my coaching calls in my calendar. Here are the dates for the coaching calls for one of the programs. I use an online calendar. You might use still a paper calendar, and that works just as well. But I just go to the month view I like the week view. And I'm going to put this over here. And then I'm just going to add all of these dates in my Google Calendar. So I already did that. So when you click on that, what I also do is I put a notification in there 30 minutes prior, so that on my phone and on my computer, it pops up in 30 minutes, you have a coaching call. And that gives me some time to, it's coming up soon. And then I want to spend at least 10 minutes before the call just reflecting real brief, taking a breath, putting everything else aside that I have done, and reflect for a moment, what do I want to get out of the call? Are there any questions that I might have? And how can the group support me? So that when I'm on the call, when I have this intention, I ask the right questions and I listen for the things that I actually need to get ahead. The other thing you need to schedule on your calendar is time when you actually listen to the videos and when you do your growth work. So say I received my first lesson here on April 10th. I know that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to make it happen, to listen to the video and to start implementing my work. At some point here, I have to put in time to actually listen to that video. And for the Body Joy videos right now, they're about 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I know I need about 1.5 hours, say. So, very cool. So I am going to a school right here. I'll probably need some time to get home and to eat something. So about 6:30, I could probably listen to that. So instead of watching television or doing some other lame thing, I'm just gonna work on my evolution. So I'm gonna type in BJ video, and I usually give my calendar a color. So for me, green is fun, red is work, and some of these are actually not right. They should be more red. And violet is I'm going to school there right now, learning about dermatology. So, and then yellow is client time, whatever. I have very little client time this week. BJ video, I would put that either as green or as red. You have to do that for every week. So say next week I don't have time on Tuesday evening, but I might have time on Wednesday morning to listen to that video. So you could put it in here. Now, the other thing you need time for is to do some growth work. So it looks like Friday afternoon right now, I would have some time. Growth work is usually pretty creative, so afternoon is a good time for doing that. So I could just put it here, Body Joy growth work, BJ growth work. You might know the saying, what gets scheduled gets done. If it ain't fitting in your schedule, it ain't get done. You just have to make a point to actually put it in your schedule. And once it's in there, you will see that over time, you will automatically be drawn to doing these things that are in your schedule. So every morning that you wake up, you look at your schedule. Oh, what's up today? Oh, I have to make a video on how to get the most out of your online classes. I'm doing that right now. Oh, then I should be doing strategic planning. Oops, I'm a little bit behind my schedule. I'm going to adjust my schedule here. Okay, so I'm going to just do that afterwards. Then I have a class this afternoon, and then I'm going to Kung Fu. So in this way, I'm taking away aggravation in my mind about what is up next. I already have it planned ahead of time. Next thing to get organized is something that you need to do in your email inbox. I know that for many of us, the email inbox is the catch-all of all of your communication, and it's so overwhelming. I mean, I used to have hundreds of emails in my inbox, and it was so hard to actually keep track of what I needed to do. So now I keep my inbox almost completely empty as I can. I still have a couple of emails here, something that I just received, and then another thing that I just need to schedule to look at. But ultimately, my email inbox is empty, and I try to get it empty every day. So the question then becomes, what do you do with your emails? Well, the thing with emails is either you attend to it immediately, or you delete it, you answer it, or you file it somewhere. So on the side here, I have a lot of folders of things that I want to have access to. One of the things that I want to have access to is, like my financial receipts, for example. I put all my financial receipts under this one so that when tax season comes, it's easy for me to put all my financial receipts in. Or I had a computer issue a while back. I saved all the emails from the computer issue. There's some client information files here. There is some a workshop I'm working on around menopause, and there's some emails where I ask people questions that I want to have access to later. Or, things like here are all my classes that I'm teaching, and under Kate, there's a bunch of classes that I'm taking with her. So whenever I am working on something, so say it's my time to work on Body Joy, and I'm like, well, I wonder where the heck we are at. I just go to my Body Joy emails, and I have a lot more than you probably will. But, and I have, those are your things. Let me show you different, because I'm not really taking the class, so I'm not saving the right emails. But for example, I'm mentoring the Living Ayurveda class right now online, and I'm the mentor. So I am saving all of the links that I need from that here as a mentor. But then I'm taking the yoga health coaching course, and I have all of my emails here that I need to have access to from that course. So whenever then I work on a project, and that is in my calendar, so say it's your Body Joy video time block that you're working on, all you need to do is to go to your folder in Body Joy. And it's like, oh, we are on week 3 right now. I will need to go to my week 3 Student Resources Hub backend. So email box empty, highly recommended to keep your process streamlined and to keep your mind empty and organized. And lastly, in order to get organized, what I do, and I'm going to go back to the Student Resources Hub here, is I print anything that I might want to have access to offline. I find that to be helpful with recipe books or with worksheets that I don't want to sit in front of the computer for. I try to get as much off-screen time as I can and just sit there with a book or a folder. Especially when I'm in the kitchen cooking, I don't want my computer around personally. So I just have the recipe book right there and I can work off of that. Same thing with the growth worksheets. I just like to sit there with pen and paper. So that's it about getting organized. Next is showing up. Scheduling something in your calendar isn't the only thing. You actually have to use your calendar. That's something that I needed to learn, and it was kind of a practice. I would put things in my calendar, but then I wouldn't do them or wouldn't get to them. And you will get better over time with this. It took me about 6 months of putting things into my calendar and actually following up on them. If I have BJ video, Body Joy video in my calendar, I'm actually committing to making that happen, and I don't go to bed until that happens. And the thing is, I'm very committed to going to bed early, so I better stick to my schedule as much as possible. Also showing up for doing your growth work, taking the time and actually it's a very beautiful time to just reflect and sit back and see where you're at. And it's all fun work anyway in Body Joy. All the application of it is super fun. The other thing about showing up is coaching calls are non-negotiable. Whenever I participated in an online program and I made my showing up on the coaching calls absolutely non-negotiable, I would delete everything out of my schedule that interfered with showing up on the coaching call. I had so much success in the online programs. And whenever I didn't do that, I didn't have as much success. I remember back when I was taking my first online program, as a participant, I kind of didn't get that. I didn't get it. And so I didn't show up on the coaching calls because they were at an inconvenient time for me, like Wednesday afternoons where I usually have clients. And I could have easily rearranged it if I had actually known the importance of showing up on coaching calls. Because it's really the coaching calls are the heartbeat of the community and of you actually stepping forward, improving, looking at your challenges, overcoming them, and taking the next step forward. And it's the same thing with the forum. So we have the Body Joy forum, and showing up on that and sharing yourself on that and letting us know, hey, what's going on for you? Do you have any recipes you want to share? Do you have any quotes that came your way that like shifted something for you in your mind and the way you show up for yourself? You know, is there something that someone said that really sparked you? Is there maybe a challenge that you're encountering and you're like, damn, it's like, oh, I'm struggling. I'm trying to implement this and I'm just can't, and I don't for some reason. Please give me your thoughts, let me know. Doing that is incredibly helpful. And we always have a very small group thus far, but still, if we all show up every other day and give our thoughts and our oomph to it, then it will move you forward. And it's fun. It's fun to share. So cool, that's that. And so showing up to study, showing up on the coaching calls, showing up on the forum, and then sharing. Share yourself. Inform at least 3 people that you spend a lot of time with about what you're up to and what your goals are. So 3 people you spend your most time with could be your partner, it could be simply somebody you're living with, it could be somebody at work that you see every day, it could be a friend that you have frequent phone contact with, or somebody that keeps you accountable. The more you share, the more impact your intention is going to have on your consciousness and on your reality. It's kind of funny that way. Whatever you put into words, and the more you put it into words, the more you share it, the more it just simply shows up for you. That's just a law of attraction or the law of nature. The more you speak it and the more you commit to it, the more it will show up for you. So that's number 1 for sharing. Number 2, find an accountability buddy. An accountability buddy either within the group, within the Body Joy group, or outside of the Body Joy group that you check in with at least once a week and say, hey, this is what I was up to, and this is what I accomplished, and this is what my challenges were. And then you can give each other feedback and support and a kick in the butt or a reminder. So accountability buddies work incredibly well. There's various ways to organize that. I've been part of accountability groups for a few years now, and every accountability group really, it's different. With some people, I simply share my story and say, hey, this is what has been up for me, and they share theirs, and then we give each other some feedback. Some others are a little bit more organized, as you will, where we set timers and say, well, you have 2 minutes to share what's up, you have 2 minutes to share what you want to accomplish next, and then there's 2 minutes for the people to give you feedback. And that's actually also really powerful in setting parameters for moving forward. It creates some fire, or tapas, what we call tapas in yoga. And then again, share yourself on the forum, share yourself with your accountability buddy, share yourself on the coaching calls. The more you share, the more you're going to get out of it. Those are my hot tips. Here is a list of things, so you can print this out, tick it off once you've done it, and that way you set yourself up for success. Hey, this is Alexandra signing off, and I'll talk to you soon.